Oh. Right, you lovelies, look at this thing. I went down to the exhaust company earlier in the week and Barry's having an exhaust manifold made. This thing is so clean. Literally, I was going underneath it. It's literally immaculate. I'm just going to show you. Sorry, Barry, if I'm obsessing over how clean the car is. Right, just listen to the door. Look at that. Oh, one more. What's the miles on it?
56,000 on it.
Take it, the guy before you had it painted. It's actually a Ford ST colour.
It's Ford ST orange, yeah, but it's got a slight pearl put in on top to change it slightly.
Just under 400 horsepower, just essentially.
Under,
yeah. Right. How long you had the car for?
Had it for just a little bit under 2 months now.
Okay. The turbo, was it a GT3070?
3071. Yeah.
Which I think is a Gen 2, so it's quite sort of quick spooling. Motor's pretty much stock.
It's stock, it's got rocker stops on valves, but besides that the actual engine itself stock. It's got a twin plate clutch in it, it's really heavy, like if you've driven it for a few hours you feel it in your knee.
You've got like leg pump. How much boost is it running?
1.6 bar.
Nice boost, yeah.
It's got a 350Z gearbox in it.
Oh great, so CD09?
Yeah.
This SR, man, it's such a fantastic motor. I think with these SRs, you know, JZs are fantastic and stuff. What you get with an SR is like almost in a 15, especially 50-50 weight distribution. So it's a really great motor. It's very agile. The JZs are cool and stuff, but if you don't kind of push them back towards the bulkhead a bit, they can be a little bit front heavy. What about the coilovers and stuff? Just run us through like suspension.
So it's got 10 coilovers on it.
EDC or whatever they call it.
So
EDFC. Diff is welded.
So it's a welded diff, but it is actually the diff built for drag. So it's a very quick diff on takeoff, but it wasn't tight enough. It was quite an expensive diff, but it's not for what I wanted to do.
I got you. So the guy originally built it for drag, but it was kind of like quite short. The final drive was obviously made it quite a short ratio, I guess.
That's right, yes. When you was doing small stuff like little donuts, sometimes it's unreliable and dragged.
It would like open up a little bit.
Yeah, and
okay.
I've just purchased Cushco two-way.
Nice.
I sat back at my place, which when I do a few more little bits to it, I'm going to put it on there. But at the moment, I'm happy with a welded diff. You know it's reliable.
Yeah, for sure, and then locks all the time, yeah. We've got a little straight here, so we'll do a nice little pull. And AP racing front and back, I mean, that's not a cheap setup, man. I know the guy before you put them brakes on, but...
Yeah, they're from an R34, so they've got like spacer plates on them because they've got bigger front discs.
What are the tyres you're running?
So at the moment on this is Toyos.
You said it was built as like a dragger. What kind of tyres originally?
He was getting late 12s on it.
That's fair play, actually. Perfect power, this, it really is. I miss SR life. for the most part, it's stock bodywork, stock front bumper as well. Just got like a little like a lip on the front. You've definitely been hitting them clipping points.
When Trevor's getting close to the roundabouts, he hits the clipping points on the front, which is what these scuffs are down on both front corners, keeping it nice and tight and close.
Yeah, we like that, man. We like it tight. Carbon bonnet, which is a nice little touch. It's nice and clean. And Nismo wheels. Have you considered Destino tyres?
No, never.
You've got to get on them, man. Honestly, they're basically semi-slicks, like the 808s, but they're literally 40% cheaper. I know I'm going to sort of say they're good tyres because they sponsor me, but I only run 6 tyres.
Yeah.
So do a buy.
Do a buy. Yeah.
And then what's the exhaust system? Is it like 3 inch or 3.5 inch?
I think it's 3.5 inch going through. It's a Blitz new spec. So when I got the car, it had most of the mods on the engine was done already, and I was on the way to Silverstone Jap show, and it started blowing. And I thought, I looked underneath, and where the wastegate connects to the manifold, it had cracked. And it had gone almost all the way round.
Was it braced? Because sometimes if the manifolds aren't braced in a lot of cars, they can actually crack. So I think Josh built you a new manifold, and he kind of braced it off the block, didn't he, to kind of stop it cracking. So my rocker arms, stoppers, head gaskets all stock. It's relatively speaking unopened.
Stop cams on there as well.
Okay.
Basically, it was mapped for a dump valve on there, so it had no wastegate noise. So I took the dump valve out and bunged it, and ever since then it's been hunted.
And before you actually had a screamer pipe, like vent to atmosphere, but now you've actually got it plumbed back.
I've got it plumbed back into the exhaust, because it sounds lovely outside the car, but when you've got screamer pipe like inside the car on boost, it sounds like you haven't got an exhaust. Yeah, and it's lovely. And the size of the flames this thing used to pop underneath, the amount of people go, your car's on fire, your car's on fire.
Yeah. Blitz SUS, a stainless steel filter, and that's obviously the manifold you have made by the exhaust company. Front mounted intercooler. Who makes the intercooler?
The intercooler is a G-Ready one.
Oh, Greddy one.
It's a Greddy one.
I don't know if it's G-Ready or Greddy. I get every name wrong. I call it Tommy and it's Tomai, and I just get.
Is it Adidas or Adidas?
I don't know. I'm going to say Adidas.
850 injectors, SARD fuel pressure regulator, Monocal oil catch can, external wastegate,
Koyo radiator, and then this is like the EDFC, so electronic damping force control. They're like sort of almost like little solenoids which sit on top of the turrets, and that's how you can adjust your different damper rates, which is a nice little feature, to be fair. You boost yourself with 1.6 bars, quite a lot of boost in one of these.
1.6, yeah, it's 1.6 bar of boost. The guy that, when he looked at it for the map, turned around to me and said it could run like 1.8, nearly 2, so keep it just below, because the engine, again, when you start braking at 400 horsepower, that's when you start lifting heads, doing head gaskets and stuff. So I don't want to break it.
Almost worth maybe just getting a better, like a slightly thicker head gasket. Maybe just lower the compression a little bit just to keep it on the safe side.
So that is a thought of mine, like putting a head gasket on it, but then while the head is off, I might just put a set of cams in it at the same time.
That's what I run. I might have had the Tomai, whatever you want to call them, the sort of quite mild cams, rocker arm stoppers, and a head gasket, and that was literally it. Eventually, my engine got a bit low compression, and I managed to find a very low mileage engine and swap it around, just did the bearings and stuff. But for the most part, it was quite stock, and tell you what, like this, it really rips.
Yeah.
Great car that was. Quick little look on the interior as well. Recaro seats, all in good nick. Sparco harnesses. Hydro handbrake.
Got my oil pressure, oil temperature gauge, which is all linked to the oil cooler on the front.
Yeah, nice.
And the boost controller, high and low boost.
What's that gauge up there?
That's a rev counter. It's a bit Fast and the Furious.
It's actually a Nissan part. I think that's JDM as fuck. I'll keep that.
Yeah,
that's
so
my opinion. Another thing as well, you're going to be getting yourself a standalone ECU master for the Wimp.
So I'm going to get an ECU master to go in there, and then all these gauges will go up there, and it'll be better management than it's got on there, because at the moment it's got an aftermarket Japanese full ECU in there. So it's got a piggyback and it's got a whole replacement ECU, which has had its own wiring loom made in rather than going to the existing. So that goes straight into the laptop and it can be mapped, but there's not many people in this country that can actually do it. It's very, very limited to who actually can map it, which is why I'm going to go for an ECU master.
And then you've got things like you've just got a Sparco, sort of, it's a very mild sort of deep dish steering wheel. And the gear knob?
So it's a Nismo gear knob. It's got quick shift in there to allow for the 350Z gearbox, because it's relocated as well. It's a little bit noisy and a little bit rattly.
Nice,
but you can feel it, it's tight and the gears are close together and you don't ever get any problems from it.
Big shout out to Barry. I'm going to chuck his Instagram down here. And yeah, if you guys want to sort of give him a cheeky little follow, just to sort of follow his progress and stuff, feel free. Be interested to kind of see what you do on the power levels, and then whether you kind of keep it steady or it's hard not to rag it in this car in here. We're losing light now as well, so we'll say goodbye to you lovelies. Chuck any comments down below if you want to have a little chit chat with the car. Like I always say, I always try my best to get back to you guys. Big shout out to Mr. Barry.
Thank you.
I'm going to give you a firm, it deserves a firm 35 out of 10 for me. I think this is it harks back to I love S15. It's super clean and it's a really nice setup. So yeah, pucker car. As I always say, make sure you give the video a like. Put any comments down below. I do my best to get back to you. And yeah, me and Mr. Barry, or Barry and I, it's correct English. We'll see you soon. Much love.